Hello everyone and welcome back to another book review. Today I am going to be reviewing volume 19 in the series No Matter How I Look at It, It's You Guys' Fault I'm Not Popular by Nico Tanigawa. But before I get started in the book review, if you are new here, if this is the first video for me that you have watched, I post new book reviews almost every single day. So if you're looking to follow book reviews, then feel free to stick around. Now back to volume 19 of No Matter How I Look at It, It's You Guys' Fault I'm Not Popular. So by the fact that I'm on volume 19, you can tell that I have been reading this series for a while and I have been really enjoying this series. This manga series is focused on our main character Tomoko, who is this girl right here on the cover, who has been going through her high school years. In the beginning of the series, when she started high school, she wasn't really sure what high school was going to be like, but she had a fantasy in which she was going to be very popular, all the boys were going to love her, she was going to have the stereotypical high school girl experience, and all was going to be well in her world. Well, things didn't exactly work out for her like that. She is a little awkward, she tends to have self-destructive tendencies, and as a result, she started high school very lonely and she continued high school very lonely. She created this negative downward cycle where she would engage in behaviors to push people away who were even attempting to get close and condemning the very thing that she wanted among female friendships, and then that created a situation in which she pushed people even further away, requiring more effort to reach out. The cycle was kind of broken somewhere in the middle of the series when they went on a class trip. During this class trip, Tomoko kind of made some of those tentative first connections, which a lot of other students made earlier in their high school career, but she did get around to making those connections. And in the second half, or phase 2, I should say, of the series, Tomoko has been expanding and deepening her connections with other people in her school as she develops those friendships and has a high school experience. Tomoko may not be having the stereotypical high school experience, but as she gets to know other girls, she starts to learn that no one is having that stereotypical high school experience. All friend groups come with rocky moments or challenging times. There's always going to be things that aren't going quite right. Girls who seem to have it all together are struggling personally behind the scenes or admit that they have to put on an act to act like the way that high school girls are sometimes portrayed. So Tomoko is learning that behind the mask, all these girls are in a way similar to her. She's not the only one that is struggling, although I would say that throughout this series, her struggle has been very extreme. And as a character, she's gone through quite a bit of personal growth. However, Tomoko is not a perfect protagonist. She's a flawed protagonist. She still has quite a number of interesting character traits. She tends to say and do things that, in my opinion, border on like sexual harassment. She is sometimes rude. She still sometimes does things to her friends that are maybe inappropriate or not very nice, but Tomoko overall as a person has grown quite a bit from where she came from, and I think that growth represents realistic character growth that a person goes through during their adolescent years, which is a very formative time of their life. Ultimately, all Tomoko wanted was a connection with other people and friends, which is what a lot of people want in their high school years, and she's gotten those. So ultimately, her high school career has been going quite well. Volume 19, I feel like we're almost entering phase 3 in this series because we are closing in to the end of high school. So Tomoko is entering her last little bit of high school. She's coming off of her last summer vacation. The beginning of this book, she's still on summer vacation, but it is her last summer vacation in high school. She is trying to soak it up and have as much fun as possible, but at least in the Japan school cycle, she needs to be focusing on her high school or her college admittance, her college entrance exams, which will be coming up. In previous volumes, she spent a good portion of her summer preparing for these college entrance exams at a study camp with other girls from her school, but now she is back and she is just doing her last summer vacation things, going to the beach with her friends. One of her friends got her driver's license, which was a big deal because now she has a car that she can drive around in. Not Tomoko herself. Tomoko can snag a ride from her friend, but she is just hanging out and enjoying and soaking up this last summer of high school, which is kind of a moment because even though you may have the next summer off between high school and college, I don't really know how the school year in Japan works, but I know for me, I graduated high school in May and then I didn't start college until August, so I still had a gap between when I ended high school and started college, but this will be her last high school summer vacation. I do think there was a moving moment, probably one of the best moments in the book is during the summer, Tomoko is going to study and she invites some people over to her house to study, but there is a typhoon, so that's rolling in. So a lot of people wind up calling off. There is one girl who does wind up coming to study. And I think what's remarkable about this chapter is the complete normalness of it, which is kind of odd to say. I feel like in a lot of other mangas, this may read as kind of a bland chapter where not much happens. It's just two girls studying and they're staying up late watching things, and they stay up throughout the entire night and they just go to the corner store and get snacks. Such a normal scene that I played through many times in my own high school or teenage life, just hanging out with friends, having a cool evening, watching some videos, eating snacks, walking to the gas station to get some more. It's just a very common and plain scene, but I would say that looking back, those are the moments that I remember most from high school, or those normal moments. I think there's a quote, and I'm going to misremember it, that like it's the small moments in life that you remember most and that have the most meaning. And this is also just a level of normalness that Tomoko, I feel like, has never quite been able to achieve. So I feel like it's really telling when she is just able to have this moment, this normal study session where she's just hanging out with her friends and having or her one friend who came, just having a study session, eating snacks, watching anime, and going through this typhoon. And there's this moment where they're just standing together watching the sunrise as the typhoon has blown through. And at the end of the day, I feel like that is all Tomoko wanted. She wanted to have this high school career that she viewed as normal, even though I don't think anyone has a normal high school career or normal high school track. She just wants to hang out with friends, make those connections, have a good time. This is all Tomoko wants, and she gets that. She gets that moment where she just is in connection with people and is having a good high school time that will probably become a good memory for her looking back at her high school years. I really like that section. I feel like it showed ultimately all that Tomoko wanted was that, and she is able to get that. 19 volumes in, but she is able to get that. I say we're entering like a phase 3. This is in my head how things are going. We're entering a phase 3 because now the focus is more on college, getting ready for college, going to college. I feel like maybe we've been in phase 3 for a while. So if in my head, phase 1 is lonely Tomoko figuring things out, Tomoko in social isolation, depression, anxiety. Then we have phase 2 where Tomoko still has all of that from phase 1, but is growing as a character, is making those connections. Key to this is like the class trip. Tomoko's making those connections, becoming the person that she wants to be by this character growth. Now we're going into phase 3, which is like future looking. What does she want to do with her future? Recognizing goals she wants to set for herself, understanding what she wants to do for college, where to go to college, how to get into college. All of that is stuff that she has to take into consideration. And I think that this end of school year is going to have a different vibe than the previous 2 phases. So in my head, even though this is probably not official, we're moving into phase 3. I'm excited to see where volume 20 goes. I don't have it on order yet, but I will be getting it and I will be continuing this series. So if you have any thoughts of the series up to volume 19 so far, I would love to get them in the comments below. If there's any manga series I am not reading, but you think I should be reading, also put them in the comments below. I'd love to get recommendations. Or if you have any thoughts you would like to share with me, then include them and I will happily read them. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.